This is one of the videos we do with the white context I had.
Where can you see these? You know, I just want to make sure you can see these if you need.
Megan.
Hello everyone. Just give us a second to set up. Doing some shaping for Death Grip. Jacob Ames. You may know him from Alexander the Brain. Amazing transition videos here on TikTok. But we're shooting some styling videos for Death Grip. We're here in Casper, Wyoming. So I thought I'd go live and let you guys see kind of what we do, filling the time before the exhibition competition tonight. And then tomorrow is Nationals at the Ford Center, I think it is, right here in Casper, Wyoming, which I'll try to put out the link. But Nationals will be broadcasted live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, for the entire Nationals competition. So make sure you tune in. Other than that, we're going to get started here. I'll just put these over here. Microphone. All right. Just clip it and go up the shirt.
Yes.
Battery. You got one of those fisheye lenses that makes my stomach look bigger, right?
Yes. These are both wide angle.
All the wide angles.
Click it on the shirt.
Are you shooting 35 or 50? Are you shooting 50?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because these are both 35. Could
Alright,
have a little
let's see.
variation.
Trying to get that out of the way.
Do you want your ribbons in the background?
It doesn't matter. I brought them in case. Just somebody's like, who's that guy? Oh, it's just me. The 2020 National Handlebar Mustache Champion. You know what I'm saying?
That was so
Are you
long
going to
ago.
see this or is this...
2020.
You know, it's kind of humbling.
Back in the ups.
I'm at 50% on this camera.
Make sure I can see
Sorry,
it.
I can't help you with that.
So, yeah, let's have you lean, like, where you're going to be styling in the mirror.
All right.
So I can make sure we're good.
Oh, this is kind of funny. I'm going to have to suck it in the whole time. Is that good or?
Now I'll have you count to 10 in a second. Hold up. Alright, go ahead.
What do you need me to start with?
Count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Alright. So look into the mirror like you're going to be styling.
Alright.
Just so I can. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So, what is that? Oh,
It's not me.
I was like, what smells like chapstick? Like hazelnut chapstick.
It's not, he's not me.
It smells like hazelnut. Look in the mirror again. This is the biggest base of it.
I know, they make it
It's
way
like the
too
smallest little camera on it, too.
Can't go that way.
Hi, Mom! She's not watching.
She don't love you no more.
Yeah, she don't. Because I came in second place last year.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm still here. That's Jacob Ames.
Alright, look
I got Hunter Kelly here, too.
Look in the mirror.
Face wasn't in frame, but that's okay.
But the mustache was.
We just poke it out.
Just show the curl.
That's all they care about anyway.
Yeah.
Like, this is my good side. This is my good side. This is my good side.
You got you covered all angles.
Alright, give me that look into the mirror one more time.
Here comes the smolder.
Oh my gosh. I can't handle it, Bob. Stop. So we're rolling here. Alright, so you're gonna look into the camera, this one, and
Alright.
say your name, your age, how long you've had a mustache, and then introduce what wax you're going to be using and what style you're going to be doing. Alright, this camera.
All right, you ready?
Yep, and action.
Hey, I'm Bob, and of course this is Elliot Norris, my mustache. I'm 48 years old, turning 49 next week. You get a little bit older, you forget. I was dared in 2018 to grow a beard for a year. So I took it out to about 20 months, decided to take the beard off, kept the mustache. So I've had this mustache now almost 4 years. And today I'm going to be doing hopefully a freestyle using the Bone Crusher mustache wax that just came out from Death Grip. It's designed to be a little firmer for your English mustaches and your freestyle mustaches.
Right, you can just go into it, I guess.
All right,
And
so
then-
just go through kind of like explaining
Yeah.
the process.
And giving like tips for people.
All right. So what I'm going to talk about today is my base shaping process. The fundamental of what I do is dry, clean mustache. You don't want to have any soaps in it. You don't want to have any oils. You don't want to have any balms. Mustache wax is oil soluble. So if you put beard oil in and then put your mustache wax in, it's not going to firm up quite the way you expect, and it can be quite frustrating. Typically with mustache wax, it comes down to preference as far as whether you need an external heat source or not. For most of the waxes that I use, a good test, and this is a beeswax pine rosin mustache wax. What you do, take your thumb or the pick, just kind of scrape it through. If it comes out kind of easy, then you shouldn't need an external heat source. And I say shouldn't because it comes down to preference. You may want to heat it up a little bit more and make it more pliable between your fingers. So the recommended amount is about a pea size. Now, if you take that and squish it between your fingers, you'll see that it's tacky, right? The fingers stick together. So today I'm going to use my fingers as the external heat source to rub it in there and warm the wax. And what I'm doing as well is I'm coating my fingers. I'm going to start from the middle and go out. Typically what I do is 4 passes on each side. Then I will let the wax kind of firm up, let it set for about 5 minutes, and then I go back through, get a little extra wax, and kind of finish it up. And with the freestyle that I'm going to try to do today, which I really don't know which one I'm going to do, I'm just going to start putting it in and see how it goes. So I've already combed my mustache to kind of align the hairs, and I'm going to try to start right here in the middle and just start going outward. Now you'll notice that the wax has transferred from my fingers into the mustache. I like to do one side at a time. It's always good to have, say, a paper towel or like a shop rag or something so that you can wipe your hands off so that your hands don't get overly tacky. If it does, you get a lot of buildup, you can start pulling on some of the hairs. So I'm just gonna scrape out a second amount. Sometimes I go a little bit more than the pea size, but I've been doing this almost about 4 years. And I know with a freestyle, I'm gonna try to go a little bit heavier on the wax. So I'm gonna start right here in the middle and just start making my way out. As you can see, most of the wax has transferred off. Now, when styling your mustache, you may notice that a hair or two might come out. That's part of the shedding process. What you don't want to feel is you don't want to feel yanking. If you're feeling yanking, then you definitely want to warm your wax up a little bit. If I use a hair dryer, typically what I'll do is I'll run the hair dryer just above the wax for maybe 10 to 15 seconds, do low heat. You don't want to turn it into like a liquid because then you're going to really change the consistency and it'll start to clump up. So just enough to soften it up so that you can rub it between your fingers to coat your fingers. So now I'm going to go with the third pass. I'm just scraping it out. As you can see, it comes right out of the tin, really, really nice at room temperature. Squishes between my fingers. And then I'm going to rub it to make it more pliable, so I'm warming it. Coating my fingers. Start right back in the middle and work it out towards the ends. Now when you're styling your mustache, it's not going to look perfect probably after the first pass, so know that you're going to have to probably add a little bit. If you start putting it in, you can take a little bit of the wax and just kind of go over it lightly. You don't really need to pull. Other than that, it's just trial and error. There is no perfect way to do it. There is no wrong way or right way. What I have found, like I said, is make sure that your mustache is dry so that you're not being frustrated by the wax not firming up. Pass number 3. So now what I'm going to do, instead of using my right hand, I'm going to use the left hand. And I found for me, the reason I switch up to use the other hand is when I put the wax in, it's going to get the hairs on the back side, and it'll get a little bit of the hairs down here so that I don't have as many loose hairs. A couple of loose hairs is not bad, but what can happen is if you don't get all the hairs nice and tight, 1 or 2 will start to come loose, and then that can cause the other ones to kind of like a domino effect. Wish it was more ambidextrous. So I'm really trying to grab these hairs back here and get more of the wax kind of out here on the end. And I'm giving it a little bit of tension to pull it out because I'm trying to shape it to go above my shoulder. Now time to switch and do the other side. Always clean off your hands. I've had the best success doing it. You may not need to, but it's not a bad habit to start doing. Bumping right into my shoulder. Taking the comb to try to make sure that I pull some of that hair from the middle. I can see that I've got a couple of loose ones here, and I'll fix that up when I go through finalizing. Just rubbing it between the fingers. Start right here in the middle. One of the other reasons I like to go back to the middle is throughout the day, when you breathe, you talk, you take a drink, that your warm breath will start to soften the wax first through here. So coming back to the middle, you kind of build up a nice foundation of layers of the wax, and it holds a little bit longer. Obviously, if you drink hot soup or if you drink a hot tea, hot coffee, then it may loosen those hairs up. The great thing about wax is if you get a couple of loose hairs, you can just go back through and kind of pinch them back in. At least that's what I have been able to do. Pass number 2. It's looking good so far. I think what I'm gonna do, straighten it out a little bit, and then I'll probably peel it, maybe do a quad mustache. I may try to take this part up here after I get the wax in it, make small curls, and then take the bottom part and bring it up and over. Freestyle mustache is basically any mustache that doesn't fit into your normal categories of a big single open loop, a closed loop, an English mustache, so on and so forth. So if you do double curls or double open loops, that would be considered a freestyle. You don't always have to make a crazy design. Pass on this right side, and then I may run a comb through just to realign the hairs. You don't have to run a comb through. Running a comb through not only realigns the hairs, but sometimes will spread the wax between the hairs, letting you have a firmer mustache, if that makes sense. So if you're just putting the wax on the hair like this, you're not necessarily getting it in between here. So when you run the comb through, it can spread it into those areas. This is a really firm wax. Firm's quick. It's one of the things I like about the bone crusher is it's pliable, it's workable, but it's firming up pretty well. Even in like the less than 5 minutes I've kind of had it in, this is already starting to get pretty firm. Yeah, I'm gonna comb it. All right, now I need to look directly into the mirror so I can see what I'm doing. So now, like I said, I've got the wax here, but I don't necessarily have it in here. So I'm gonna comb it not only to spread it, but it'll allow me to kind of separate the mustache so I can see what kind of curls that I'm gonna do.
Someone asked on your live, is this that pedophile hunter show?
What?
Because of the
Oh yeah,
hotel room.
hiding in the motel room.
It's like, this is hilarious.
So now you'll be speaking to this.
saturation right in there, so they look semi-even.
A little X-Wing or Predator.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that'd be great. Excellent. You can talk to the camera.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. So what I've done is I've combed the mustache to kind of open the hairs up, get a look at it. I want to kind of separate these top two ones. I think what I'm going to try to do is 2 curls up on the top, and then maybe bring.
Say that again. It's my first time.
So what I've done is I've combed the mustache and I separated it out into 4s, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bring these up and over and kind of bring them up here, and then maybe take this piece up and around and attach it to the outside of the loops. It sounds kind of funny, but now I'm going to go through and start putting wax on to make it more firm and try to close up this area so that it's about as thick as this area. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit, rub it a little bit to coat my fingers. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm making it pliable, but I'm keeping the wax tacky because I want it to grab those loose hairs. And by not warming it too much, it also firms up a little bit faster. And this is where you just kind of go through and put in a little bit where you think it needs to go. Just a teeny tiny little bit. I feel like this is taking so long. All right, so now
One sec,
So now that I've added a little more wax, what I like to do when I roll them is I'm going to take some wax, barely rub it between my fingers because I want it to be really sticky, coat down mostly the ends from the middle out to the end, and then bend the mustache over. And what I'm going to do is it's a small surface area to try to attach it on top of itself. So I'm going to kind of put it behind and pinch it in, and then I'm going to, if it sticks, pinch it together, and then start to walk the mustache in. And this is where having that little layer of tacky wax will help by not rubbing it a whole bunch. and having smaller fingers. I don't have small fingers. So one of the things you can do is while you have it in this position, you can take out your hairdryer, hit the cool button, hit it with a blast of cool air. You can stick your face in your freezer to speed up the process of the wax coming back to room temperature to firm up. Now, it'll start to pull back a little bit, so I'll continue to push it. I like to do the tops. When I did the 10 rings, so 5 on each side, I start on the top and then make my way to the outside, because if you're trying to go from the middle to the top to the bottom like that, it's hard to get your fingers in. Clean off these fingers, grab a little more wax. Just gonna rub it a little bit to coat those fingers, keeping it nice and tacky.
When you show the wax, I would probably just hold it like right here next to your face.
Okay. Now I will go through and I'll come back and I'll try to make these look more symmetrical by going through and pinching them. Sometimes I'll come through on the bottom and pinch it down through here to hold it in a little better. The longer I can keep it in this position, the more it'll kind of hold. This is where not having tacky hands is super important. As you're making these final adjustments, if your hands get overly tacky and you're pinching the mustache together and you go to take your hand away, you can pull your mustache apart. That can be super frustrating. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get some wax out on these guys. And then basically I'm going to try to bend this over and attach it to the top without pulling this mustache apart. I'll start on this side first. A little bit of wax. Just going to rub it a little bit so it stays sticky. Oh wow, that's a tiny hair to keep an eye on. So it's my thumb is tacky and it's sticking right in there, so you got to be gentle. Big meaty hands right away. So that's kind of where it's going to go. I'll fix it up here a little bit, but I can start in on this side. Tiny bit of wax. Rub it just a little bit, keeping it nice and tacky. And really, you want to put, for this style I'm doing, I prefer to put a little more wax out here on the end so it's got something to stick up here. now is basically just the tweaking part. Push it back. Try to make sure that the gaps are similar. Pinch it together, pinch it down, and hold this side up. This is the boring part where you'll just sit and kind of watch me do this for a little bit. Part. Trying to make sure these guys up at the top don't come loose. As we're sticking my head in the freezer would definitely help out a little bit. That's basically it. I'll probably go through and do a little bit of fine tuning. And once this cools down and firms up, this will hold pretty much all day. In my experience, if you prep it right, if you style it right, at least for me, the 4 passes on each side, then allowing the mustache to cool a little bit, and then going back over it with a tiny bit to finalize it, has kept me from having to add wax throughout the day. The parts I have to worry about the most are kind of right in here from where I breathe, where I'm talking, where I take a drink. You might snag it on some food, but typically I can eat with no problems once I get that wax in there. So once again, I am Bob, and this is Elliot Norris, my mustache. This is Bone Crusher from Death Grip, made for Englishes and freestyles.
Now we're gonna ask you some questions.
Yeah,
So you
let
can
me, this way I can
just
fix it up a little bit.
and then
But I figured instead of like sitting here like, ooh, look at me holding it. Put my glasses on and see what everybody's saying up there.
Oh yeah.
Definitely gotta say thank you for everybody tuning in, see if anybody has any questions. And then I'll have to fix it a little bit. The mirror part wasn't bad. The brighter light, and I'm like, where am I attaching it? I'm used to the darker background.
Yeah.
I gotta show off the mustache over here for everybody.
Is
Hey everybody, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys didn't get too bored, but I was trying to make a freestyle mustache demonstrating how the new Death Grip Bone Crusher mustache wax works. It is designed for your English mustaches, freestyles. Today I wanted to go with a single loop up at the top that connects, then connect that outer loop. And the tough part about it is the outer loop has a small surface area, so I have to kind of attach it and push it over. And I'm trying to do all that without pulling this part loose. And it looks like it held up pretty good. Thank you so much to Roastmaster who jumped in and I imagine did some moderation. We are here in Casper, Wyoming. Getting ready to go over for exhibition competition for the Nationals. That should be at the Gaslight. Tomorrow, the competition is going to be at the Ford Center here in Casper, Wyoming. It'll be broadcast live on Twitch, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. That is Jacob Ames right there. Infamous Alexander the Brain, also TikTok star with many, many wonderful transitions, doing a lot of the Peaky Blinders. I always get that wrong. That is Tim back there with Death Grip. Amazing beard. And you guys know this guy right there, right? Hunter Kelly. coming over to be part of Team Death Grip. So we're going to be competing tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to raise a lot of money for good charities. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sorry I wasn't able to interact like I normally do, but I thought you guys might like to see how things go in the background when you see some of the amazing work that Jacob Ames puts out for Death Grip. This is what we do. We are not shooting how to catch a predator. I think somebody said that in the comments, but we were not shooting how to catch a predator. But yeah, we were shooting up while we got all these mustache guys here is showing how we use the Death Grip products. This is a great wax. I think it's only been out about a month, right? Under the Bone Crusher name. So I think this is going to be a favorite for a lot of different people. So I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. I'll try to do lives a little bit more. Maybe I'll broadcast a little bit during the competition tomorrow after I compete. But anyways, love you guys a whole bunch. I'm Bob, and this is Ellen Norris with my mustache. Wishing you guys a wonderfully beautiful day.